Welcome to the Audience Converter Podcast, the podcast for converting your audience from strangers to loyal fans. We dive deep and discuss how entrepreneurs, consultants, and coaches can level up their business to help more people in the world. Now here's your host, the creator of the Audience Conversion Method, Kimberly Weitkamp.
Are you tired of the chaos, uncertainty, pivots, and oh so many changes from 2020? It's time to hit the reset button. Use those changes and pivots and all of the chaos, and it's time to leverage it into sustained success for 2021 and beyond. Join me and over 15 experts in the Biz Reset for 2021 Summit, where we're diving into the topics of marketing, management, mindset, and money, and discovering how to leverage all of the changes of the last year into sustained success for 2021 and beyond. Check it out at theaudienceconverter.com/summit and grab your free ticket today.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Audience Converter Podcast. I'm Kimberly Weitkamp, your host and conversion copywriter. And today, it's a new year. We're talking about going forward, moving forward. What does that look like? And how can we continue on this path as coaches and course creators and online experts who are building communities? And what do we actually need to put in place? So this last year for a lot of us has been very chaotic. It's been very up and down and twisty-turny, and it's one of those things where I feel a lot of us are ready to hit that reset button. Now, I don't want people to think that when I say hit the reset button, like we're going to start back over from zero. I am talking about hitting reset on the approach that we take to our businesses, and we're realizing that while there is change, and a lot of change has happened, the reality is change is inevitable. Change kind of always happens. Change is pretty much always there. I recently sent out an email to my community talking about how, my definition of normal and what I was expecting the world to be like changed drastically every couple of years. When I was 10, we had VCRs. Nobody in my family had a cell phone. We moved and had to get a special phone number that treated the people that were literally 15 minutes away by car. We were still in the St. Louis metro area, but our new address was considered long distance, even though we were still kind of in St. Louis. So we had to get a special phone number so that when we called St. Louis and everybody we still knew, it wasn't going to be treated like a long distance phone call. And, by the time I got to high school, we had DVRs. We weren't even recording things on a VHS tape. And my world had changed. The way things operated had changed. And by the time I graduated, I had my own cell phone. We had laptops. We had the ability for laptops and USBs, all of which weren't even a blink of an eye, like 6-7 years previous. So when I heard so many people talking, oh my gosh, there's been so many changes. I've had to pivot. I've had to do so many different things differently. I just kept thinking back to how change happens. And we have to be prepared to take what changes happen and then leverage them. Figure out how to use those changes in a positive and sustained manner for more success, more profit, more fun, and more impact with our businesses. And so on that note, I kind of want to talk about, this idea of the new normal. Your normal right now is what normal is. Now, normal is going to change in a month, in 2 months, in 6 months, in another year. 6 months ago, normal was something different. A year ago, normal was something different. And that's okay. But the idea also is that change is something to embrace, right? If we kept stuck in the same approach every time with our marketing, not only would we not see growth, we'd probably see shrinkage in our businesses. As a marketer, there's this kind of golden rule, and the rule is always be testing. And the reason you always need to be testing is because your audience changes and matures and pivots over time, as does the way you operate. Right? When I first got started, the type of projects I wanted to work on were very, very different from the types of projects I work on now. Now I focus a lot on email, on lead generation, and on huge launches. And when I got started, I was doing something completely different. I was writing blog posts. I was writing guides. I was writing case studies. And that's changed over the course of my entire journey as an entrepreneur, as a copywriter, as a freelancer. That has changed. And that's okay. The people I want to work with has changed as well. I launched the Audience Converter podcast a little bit over a year ago now because I decided I wanted to serve a completely new audience. So I pivoted, I changed, I launched a new business and a new podcast and a new website all in the same month. That was a completely different area from where I had been doing something previously. And change is good because I realized that I wasn't enjoying the work that I used to be doing as much. I wasn't feeling as fulfilled. I wasn't being able to make the kind of impact that I wanted to make. So, if you've had those changes, those pivots, those roller coaster, twisty, turny ways in the last few months, you are not alone. But also remember that while it might seem a little bit more extreme in the last year, it's not something that's going to go away. Change is a part of life. It's a part of business. It's a part of growing and making a bigger impact in the world. So there are 4 core areas I want to talk about where you might experience some change, but also might have experienced a pivot, and how you can leverage those for sustained success into the future. Okay, I know a lot of people out there, we've had a rough year. Some people, they had their best year ever, but it was a lot of chaos. Some people had their worst year ever, and of course, it was a lot of chaos. So the 4 areas I want to talk about are areas that we talk about all the time on the Audience Converter podcast. And I just want to go in and give a little bit of a definition of what that really means. So topic number 1, of course, is marketing, right? That's my area. That's my zone of genius. That's where I can talk for hours and hours. I've seen a lot of Facebook memes or posts here recently where somebody says something like, if you were asked to give a talk without any preparation and it had to be at least 20 minutes, what could you talk on? I could easily talk on digital marketing, copywriting, email marketing, all of that kind of stuff. So marketing is essentially, I want to take a moment and give a definition of marketing, because I feel a lot of people, when I speak with them, a lot of my clients, a lot of the coaches and such that I work with, when I say, oh, let's talk about your marketing, they're like, yeah, this is kind of what I do, but I don't know how to say that in marketing speak. And I want to just put a stop to that thought process right now. Here's a reset, a pivot, a change that you can make in your approach to marketing. Marketing is simply putting your message in front of the people who are already looking for your help. So one of the things I mentioned I focus on a lot is lead generation. And I use the term lead generation because that's the term that people hear out in the world, right? People hear the term lead generation a lot. But I don't like the term lead generation because it's this idea that you are doing something to create an audience. And the reality is your audience, your community is already out there. They're already looking for your help. I like the approach of the audience attraction model instead. It's the same type of approach, but what changes is how you approach your marketing. Because when you approach your marketing from a place of, well, how can I help you? How can I serve you? What are you looking for support on? You're finding the people who are open to working with you. They're open to working with you now or in the next few months. They're not people who have to be convinced and educated and, you have to change their mind. So I want to start talking about the audience attraction model, right? The audience attraction method to using marketing and building up your business. So marketing is simply putting your message in front of the right people who are already looking for your help. And another place you might have experienced a pivot is in money. Now, this could take 2 different ways, right? You might change the approach you take when using money, whether it's how you choose to make investments for your business. And you also might have found that, okay, pricing is a little bit of a minefield nowadays, or it's even more of a minefield nowadays. And a lot of people I talked with as well have found that this money idea, it was also a place of guilt and concern for a lot of people when the pandemic hit, because they're like, well, so many things are going wrong. How can I continue to charge money for my services? And here's how. Because you are still providing a service. You are still providing value. You are still giving somebody help in an area that they need it. And by you generating cash flow, by you generating revenue, you're able to continue to contribute to your local economy or to the economy in general and to the economy at large. And, one of the people I follow, he was talking about, he helped generate, 6 different positions in his company. So he was able to hire people and give them a salary of sorts. So when you talk about money and the approach to money, did you figure out a pivot? Did you have to change your approach to how you think about money and how you ask people for money? And one big way I think that changed is for pricing, right? It used to be, people were like, well, I don't want to work with people who need to do the payment plan because they're not in the right place. But then the situation changed, your audience changed, your community changed. So now they needed that payment plan. They were still highly interested and invested in working with you, but maybe it wasn't at okay, I can pay in full. Now it's I need 3 months to pay or 6 months to pay option. So that's kind of one big pivot, I think, when we talk about money. And money is simply an exchange. It's an exchange of value for service. Value for service, right? You are providing a service and they are giving you value. Or they're providing a service, right? They're letting you pay your bills and you're giving them value. It's a two-way street. It goes both ways. And the next area we're going to talk about is mindset. Now, a lot of us had some battering on our mindsets, right? What am I doing? Why am I still in business? Who am I to be doing this kind of thing when everything else is going on? And I realized, you know what? There's still tons of people out there who need to be working, who need to be providing for their families. And by me saying, nope, I'm not going to charge, then that deprives them of the ability to reach the people they need to reach so their business can survive and their community can survive and they can make an even bigger impact on their community. So with your mindset, I just want to kind of give a brief definition. Your mindset is simply your thoughts and feelings around what you're doing. And you can choose to make them positive. You can choose to make them negative. You can choose to say, I don't have an impact on that. But in reality, we do. And the last area is management. Now, for many of us, management's one of those things where we feel we kind of have to do it all ourselves. And management for me is simply how you structure your time, your business, and your life. But for many of us, we kind of feel that business comes first, right? We have to structure our business first. And then we get to structure our time, maybe. And then maybe we get to structure our life. And I want to kind of flip that on its head. Let's structure our life first. And then structure how the business fits into that. And structure how, family and all other parts of our world and our lives fit into that. So management is simply the approach, processes, and systems we put in place to create the life, business, and world we want to live in. Now, that's a lot of new definitions for some people. And I think those are the 4 areas, if you really internalize your definitions of those terms, of those core areas, there are so many different ways that our pivots fit into one of those core areas. And our pivots can be leveraged for positivity, for positive change, for positive impact, for positive growth. And of course, one of the things I've decided to put together, throughout this last year, I have felt kind of like, well, how can I help more? How can I help more? Because originally, I only worked in a one-to-one capacity. And as I decided, I wanted to help more, I realized, well, one way I can help more is to expand how I operate with people. So I started offering more group programs, group workshops, group courses that were taught live. So it's the ability to work with me in a non-one-to-one manner, but it gave more people the opportunity to work with me, the opportunity to expand their businesses and change the way they marketed and really reach out to more of the right people for them. And, near the end of the year, I was like, well, I want to do a little bit more. How can I help people kind of reset their mindset, have a single point where it's like, okay, here's all of your action steps. And here's a single point in time where we're going to hit that reset button. We're going to hit the reset button. And by hitting reset, we're going to approach the new year with a plan, with the right tools and resources in place. So I have launched a summit. It's called the Biz Reset for 2021 Summit. And I am incredibly excited about it. This has been months of planning and coordination and finding the right people to talk with everybody. And I have found experts in all 4 of these areas. And even better, each of these experts is actually going to be presenting a talk that falls into at least 2 categories. Because here's why. If you only focus on one area, something suffers. Business is integrated, especially as an entrepreneur, as somebody who's running our own community. It's integrated because our life and our business, they don't exist separately. And all of the other aspects of the business don't exist separately, right? If you don't have the right marketing in place, you're not going to be approaching and getting the kind of audience you need to really make an impact. If you don't have the right money thoughts in place, Well, you can have all this great marketing, but then not be able to sell anything. If you don't have sales skills, if you don't have pricing, if you don't have packages, if you have all the right systems in place, but no great marketing, well, you've got the ability to filter and change and automate a lot of things, but you don't have the traffic to even warrant spending the time on it. So, and mindset, of course, is at the core of everything, right? You have to have the mindset when talking about any of this stuff. So I have over a dozen experts talking on mindset, money management, and marketing, and everything we do. And the reason why I wanted to hit the biz reset is because a lot of these pivots and changes all go back to one thing, which is really and truly knowing your audience. Everything starts with your audience when it comes to building your business. And that is what I'm going to talk about a little bit in the next solo episode. So for right now, I just want you to go and check out theaudienceconverter.com/summit. Sign up for the Biz Reset for 2021 Summit. It is completely free. Absolutely free. And then, of course, we do have an opportunity for you to get access to all of the recordings, extra time and Q&A sessions with the speakers, some more deep dive interviews, and a couple of journals to help and track your abundance and track your marketing strategies throughout the year to really help you prepare, and an amazing workbook. But just to attend live, it's completely free. Be sure to check it out at theaudienceconverter.com/summit. And of course, the link will be in the show notes as well. And, I just want to close with this idea. I would love to hear from you. How did you pivot in the last year? Which of those 4 areas are you most interested in hearing more about? I'm putting together the list of people we're going to have on as experts in the coming year, and I would love to have your input and feedback as to what you want to hear more about. Do you want to hear about more marketing strategies? Do you want to hear about more management, more mindset, more money? I think all of those together really do make an impact. So be sure to check out theaudienceconverter.com/summit. And remember, until next time, keep calm and carry on.
Thanks for listening to the Audience Converter Podcast. For more information and important links about today's show, or for access to our website, visit theaudienceconverter.com. Take a moment to rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.